reason to waste time. So the program will start now on the authority of the president of the Association of Pharmacology today. And I want to be sure that we all agree that the program is very important at this time when the National Universities Commission is actually working on the rejuvenation of the more impactful and more. Without much ado and without wasting our time, my name is Kamoru Salahuddin. I will be the moderator of this program today. And like I said earlier, I welcome you to the program on behalf of MLA, Muslim Lecturers Association. Before we continue, let me quickly recognize the president. I want to be sure is around, Professor Ahmed Adedeji. Thank you so very much for putting up this very innovative idea for the benefits of our nation. And at the same time, I'm aware the Vice President Academics of the Great Association is also around on the program. In person of Professor Ibrahim Oreagba. Professor Ibrahim Oreagba, hello. Okay, you're welcome. And the scribe of MLA, that's distinguished scholar of political science and public administration, Dr. Sulaiman Muse. You're welcome to the program. Dr. Muse.
No.
Good morning and welcome. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi.
It's my pleasure to be here with us.
Thank you so very much. We are grateful for this idea that the association has together. And having done that, we have very great scholars who have volunteered to do this for us, the benefit of all of us. The first among them is a distinguished professor of food science at Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Lautech, Ogbomoso, Nigeria. It is no other person than Professor Bolade Aishat Akiwande, the Director of Academic Planning of that very important university in Nigeria. Prof, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. I'm very grateful. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you, ma. And also, we have another very distinguished professor of education from the FCT, University of Abuja, and is also coincidentally the Director of Academic Planning of that university. Again, I can see that MLA is very careful and selective in the choice of the resource people on this program today, and I can see that two of them are very, very relevant to the issue of discussion today. And I'm referring to Professor Wasil Gabadin from the University of Abuja. Professor Gabadin, am I sure Professor Gabadin is online? Okay, I know maybe it may be technical age from his side, or whenever it comes around, we won't be able to recognize him again. And like I introduced earlier, the host of the program is the president of MLA Nigeria, Professor Ahmed Adedeji, Professor of Pharmacology and President of Muslim Lecturers Association. Prof, you're welcome to the program. Let me start by saying that the culture of academics has to do with actually brainstorming and the existence of the humanity, especially when it comes to the town and the gown. What the NUC is doing now is something that is very important, and I'm happy. I'm very pleased that this association is paying good attention to it, so that we don't just keep aloof and allow the program to the process to just go like that. It's part of the social responsibility of any association like this by contributing their own voice to issues that of national importance at this very time. I guess Professor Gabardine is now online. I think I heard his voice a while ago now. Okay. Yeah, without wasting our time, I wish go to the next item on our agenda, which is Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you so very much for honoring the invitation of MLA and for your readiness to contribute your knowledge and experience to this very national. Pray that Almighty Allah will continue to spare your life for the benefit of the humanity. The next on the program is the welcome address of the president of MLA.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I hope you can hear me.
We can hear you, Paul.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Auzubillahi samil alim minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashrafil mursalin Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Let me officially welcome all participants on behalf of the National President of the Muslim Lecturers Association, Professor Ahmed Adedeji. My name is Ibrahim Adekunle Oreagba. I'm a professor of pharmacology and toxicology at the University of Lagos College of Medicine, and also the current president of the Islamic Medical Association of Nigeria. I'm an ESCO member of MLA, and that is why the president asked me to welcome all delegates. We are very, very delighted and excited to have you this morning to discuss a very important and germane topic, and that is the CCMAS, that is the Core Curriculum Minimum Academic Standard. Now, a lot is going on the way forward for our curriculum, and there is the proposal and implementation of the CCMAS from the BMAS, and universities are already being directed to implement the CCMAS. Now, what benefits do we have? What are those things we'll derive? What benefits do we derive from this CCMAS? How will it benefit our institutions? What are those things we need to do to gear up to ensure that the CCMAS comes to stay and is efficient and effective for our academic system? I believe we have competent resource persons on ground to deal with this. And I will not take too much of our time. I want them to do justice to it. While you participants, please be very focused, attentive, and of course, the opportunity will be there for you to make your own contributions. Once again, I want to thank everybody for joining in, despite the tight schedule that we have. May Almighty Allah reward us abundantly, and all the communique that we are able to bring out the points from this fruitful discussion. May Allah make it beneficial for us as an ummah and for Nigeria as a country. Thank you very much once again, and Allah bless you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That was the address of welcome of the president of MLA, Professor Ahmed Adedeji. We thank you so very much for that very brief insight. As a very good opening to the program. If we have the agenda or the schedule of the program with us, we will see that the next thing to do now is first on a particular topic, standards, CC mass in post interest. So who will benefit from this? And a very relevant and qualified person has been chosen to do that, like I introduced earlier. But there is something that I forgot to mention, which I'm going to do now. It is very important. Professor Bolanle Aishat Akinwande is actually the chairperson of Committee of Directors of Academic Planning in Nigerian universities. So we couldn't have invited any other person to do this job than this very distinguished professor. Between now and 11, Akinwande will be engaging us on this issue. Prof, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Can I be allowed to share my screen?
Yes.
You can do that, ma.
Okay. So I would like to Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
And I would also like to sincerely appreciate Dr. Taufik Adegboyega for the honor to be invited to make this presentation. I thank you so much, sir. Bolanle Aishat Akinwande is my name. And I'm from Lautech Ogbomoso, Academic Discourse on Review of Education Curriculum for National Development. And it is my pleasure to be making presentation on core curriculum and minimum academic standards in whose interest. By way of outline, I will be taking us through all this, empowerment, information, providing information on empowerment and role of NUC, shedding light onto the benefits of CCMAS, and the core of the presentation, beneficiaries of CCMAS, most importantly, in relation to learning outcomes. And I will conclude thereafter. I deem it fit to take us through a bit of information in relation to establishment and empowerment of AUC. This becomes very important, especially the way most of the academics have been insinuating concerning irrelevance of NUC in relation to universities. Somebody said, what makes NUC to be responsible for talking about curriculum in universities? I could not but just open my mouth. It is obvious, many of us academics lack information on what NUC means, universities. And that is why I think I need to take us through bits of history concerning how NUC came into being and the roles of NUC. In 1962, National Universities Commission was established as an advisory agency and became a statutory agency in 1974 with the aim of overseeing the university educational system. As a follow-up to this, there were 2 laws that were made at federal level to provide the legal framework for the quality assurance and regulatory mandates of the National Universities Commission. Regulatory mandates, this is a keyword. And the easiest thing to clarify, because even having said at some meetings, somebody explained that NUC is a regulatory body to universities. But even at that, many people did not understand what it means to be a regulatory agency to university. And I would just simply liken it to what industry, chemical industries, we know what it is. And also liken it to what current means to engineering industries. I don't think any one of them here tell the regulatory agency to go and sit down and that they will do it as they like. With that information, I think it is now more obvious what NUC means to universities. It means whatever they say to universities becomes something in quotes, a law. So I will explain more about these laws that make NUC to be able to perform specific roles in relation to universities. The first one is that of Section 10(1) of the Education Act, and this is National Minimum Standards and Establishments of Institution. The law of the Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
No. Okay.
Can you hear me?
We can just hear. I just heard your question. I think for in the last 1 minute.
We can hear you, man. Go ahead, man. You can go ahead, man. Hello, it seems Prof has logged out. Can Dr. Adeboyega please help us reach Prof back?
Perhaps she has some technical or network issue. Maybe somebody should put up a call to her to know what is happening.
My sincere apology. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you are welcome back, ma'am.
It's so painful, so unfortunate. Please kindly bear with me.
No problem, not your fault.
There are two options that are not working. The
Yeah.
best is the one that is now failing. Can I continue?
Yes, continue, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so this is the second act, and that is that of 2011, that charged NUC with the responsibility of the general development of universities in Nigeria. And with this, NUC is empowered to lay down minimum standards for all universities and other institutions of higher learning in the federation and accreditation of their degrees, as we know they do to most of the programs from time to time. So in summary, we should take it that NUC has constitutional provisions that empower the Commission to be in charge of quality assurance on education in Nigerian universities. One of the roles of NUC is to set standards for program accreditation, set standards for the programs that we run at universities level. And with this, I will just take us through memory lane of the genesis of curriculum preparation and use by universities. In 1989, there was this minimum academic standards development, the MAS, and that was done by NUC and Nigerian universities. After that, in 1998, a statement of benchmark was proposed to the then Executive Secretary, Professor Musa Ali Jibril, and that was to advance the course of minimum academic standards. In 2001, the process to review the minimum academic standards of 1989 was initiated because the minimum academic standards was indicated to just be content-based and prescriptive. In 2004, benchmark minimum academic standard was proposed, Professor Kebukola, and this was to be with an intention to merge both minimum academic standards and benchmark statements together. In 2007, there was an approval for the benchmark minimum academic standards, which is a amalgamation of benchmark staff and the minimum academic standard. And as at then, there were 13 disciplines. In 2016, additional discipline came on board, and that was the development of the PMAS for computing, making total of 14 disciplines. In 2018, the process to review the PMAS was initiated, and this was with an intention to respond to the needs of the society. And all glorious CCMAS came on board in 2022 and with 17 disciplines. And this was with an intention to reflect the 21st century skills and competencies for self in terms of students, national and global relevance. The golden question, the core of this presentation, why CCMAS? It came into being as a result of series of observations, especially by the regulatory body. Somebody is marking the page. When the Minister of Education, the current Minister of Education came on board, he came with the change mantra, and that was with an intention to address the multiple problems being faced by the education sector. And the mantra was education for change. And there was a document that was developed, Ministerial Strategic Plan for 5 years from 2018 to 2022. And the document was to show the government's commitment to strengthening institutional structures and establishing innovative approaches to revamp the education sector. So the statement of the minister, and I quote, "A need was felt to radically review the curricula which universities had used for more than a decade, so as to put in place one that would more directly address local issues, meet international standards, and also be fit for the purpose for the training of 21st century graduates." In the process of developing the CCMAS, there were stakeholders that were put together, and I think we should have known this. Somebody is marking the screen. We should have known this, that the document was not prepared by the agency, but by different categories of stakeholders. And for the disciplines, for the 17 disciplines, the first was that each panel of the 17 disciplines took into consideration the triple helix model as a unique feature. And with this triple helix model, there were, do you see what I'm seeing?
Somebody's marking the screen.
Somebody is marking the script. Many people now, not just one person. There were blends of.
So I suggest the
I think it is a
to disable everybody. I think there is one Jack group that's already.
It is not me, bro. It is not me.
I think there is need to really disable all the markings. I will suggest Prof should.
Oh, the marking the screen.
Prof should stop sharing and share again.
All right.
We should disable everybody, both marking or whatever.
Okay, so we can continue.
We also advise that all of us should write names instead of the notes. The name of the phone.
I suspect this Minister of Defense is the one. We have just changed his name again. He has left now.
Okay.
And did this through Drosty Rogers. You see now. Admin should disable everybody.
It is not Rusty, Roger.
Hello.
It is Tobutu.
Hello, good morning. Please, can I interject?
Please do.
Okay, the lines being drawn on your screen, I think that is Vikale. Hello, can I confirm
Yes,
that?
somebody is drawing.
I would say nobody is drawing. Is a function of the system requirements. When the system requirement is low and the system is working,
The system requirements.
such lines.
No, I don't think so. I don't think
No,
so.
No, I don't think so.
It.
Somebody is online. One
Sergio
Perez or so.
That Drosty Rogers is a culprit there, and then one other guy that changed his name to minister.
It is not me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Is your name Drosty Rogers? Put your correct name there.
I didn't do anything.
Let everybody put his correct name, else you disable those people.
Please, I am talking as a technical person managing Zoom for over 8,000 programs in a year, please.
Can I continue?
You can continue, man.
Yes, you may continue.
Yes, ma, continue, ma.
Okay, so the panel had a mix And there were blends of academic experts, members of academies, government personnel represented by NUC, then professional bodies and private sector. My screen
Yes,
is
you can
on now.
continue, but it is better to put your
No.
one
You
another
can
official.
continue
So
because
that
I
we
can just see it.
Somebody
Once
should draw the
Torres
screen.
is on the, yeah.
Somebody
it's
took
on there.
over. You can't
Yes,
see
it
my
must have
screen.
took over. Yes.
Okay.
I can see that he took over.
All right. So there are some things to note about the CCMAS. And the first is because it came into being as a series of complaints, and there were things that were taken care of in the development of the CCMAS to better the then BMAS. There were a series of complaints by universities that there used to be high number of general studies courses, and this was addressed, and there is now replacement of with the entrepreneurship courses like venture creation. And also another good thing with that is that we have 3 programs that have been unbundled to become discipline, the likes of agriculture, mass communication, then architecture. And so there was establishment of some specializations in this field. Someone is back again. And also allied health sciences was also carved out from the then basic medical sciences as a new discipline. So we now have basic clinicals as applied in some universities. And this came out of basic medical sciences. The person is here again.
Yes, but can we like restart the whole thing? Stop, madam, can you stop?
I think it's better we restart so that we
yes,
leave.
it's better you stop sharing.
So
we leave, then
when we want to join
do
now,
another thing.
when everybody want to join now, they should join with their name. I think that's better.
Okay. That is talking. Your name is not here. That's Xiaomi.
So please, ma, you can go ahead. I have removed those that have joined with strange names.
What about this Xiaomi should be removed too? This Xiaomi should be removed too, or change your name.
This is Bunyamin Ajayi. This is Bunyamin Ajayi for ENSUP.
You should use your name then.
That is the system I'm using, mister.
No, you can change your name. You can change it to your name because we don't know who is you.
I'm telling you my name now. You will now heard me.
Okay, I'll just continue. In addition to what had been said, there is the current trend in the various programmatic areas. The curriculum now is to be ICT oriented. It is to promote artificial intelligence, enhance skills acquisition with inclusion of soft skills, inculcate and sharpen entrepreneurship mindset of students. And lastly, with what COVID-19 taught us, not to depend solely on traditional teaching. And I think that is coming up. It's part of the thing that the CCMAS is to encourage, to steer development of evolving technologies to deliver content through hybrid model. Also, it is to be comparable in contents to similar curricula in the best university systems in the world, and also be relevant to Nigeria's sociocultural content, to address the knowledge and skills gap in the content it is replacing, to enable university to customize curriculum. We have seen this is what we are dealing with now with the additional 30% courses, to place interest on entrepreneurship, change of nomenclature according to global practice. It is no more fashion to use benchmark minimum academic standards in university, but rather core curriculum. And as it is said, core curriculum, that students should not be engaged in diverse, in quotes, not so relevant courses, that they should be taking through more of the core courses that are relevant to their programs. And that is why it is changing from BMAS to CCMAS. And also to produce future fit graduates. So also, in addition to that, there is an incorporation of programs, specific entrepreneurial courses, which are necessary for graduates to acquire necessary skills to identify business opportunities. There are description of learning objectives and learning outcomes. I will still talk more about this to guide both teachers and students towards program philosophy, and also program design to promote multidisciplinary research and sustainable development. So the golden now, I will want to open the documents on my phone so that in case this is blocked, I will still be able to continue. Also, the golden question now, in whose interest? Before I continue, there is something I observed and something I've heard the ES said, and also most of the NUC professionals. There is interest from teacher-centered learning to student-centered learning. And what does this mean? The teacher-centered learning is what we have been doing. Simply said, it is a traditional way of teaching. And at global level, nobody does that so much. The interest is to do it, to shift to
somebody's drawing on the screen,
learning, and also to be able to teach people in relation to what they need.
It is
move away from teaching what teachers think the student should know. And with the teacher-centered learning, is like students year in, year out, teaching them the same thing. And that is why some lecturers find relevant the same lecture notes to teach for several years. With the content of the concept of the student-centered learning, it will be more of taking students through what they need to know and not what the teacher thinks he should let them know. So before us, like I said, 70% had been given to us. We are now to provide 30% addition to CCMAS, and we have realized development of this is to include learning outcomes for each course, except some of the academics that pass through the teacher training programs. They are those that would understand this concept of learning outcomes indication, because for some primary schools, we know they do it. The trained teachers, there is no how they will want to teach that they will not write out what the students should know. So this is getting back to us to really do it. So the issue of learning outcome, I think, is coming strange to majority of the academics. In its simplest form, intended learning outcomes are the qualifications that lecturers expect students to have achieved after they have attended a particular course. And it should be noted also that with the outcomes, it's not a matter of assessment, it's not a matter of grading. In clear terms, the lecturer would set what students should be equipped with at the end of the course. And with that also, the students would have an idea of what they will get at the end of the course. And that is according to several practice. Before I continue with the intended learning outcome, I would like to talk about Bloom's taxonomy cognitive domain. Bloom's taxonomy is a form of hierarchical level of knowledge, the level of learning outcomes, learning ability of students, and they are 6. And this hierarchical level is from the most basic of remembering to the most complex of creating. Something struck my mind in the process of writing intended learning outcomes for some of the courses. And it was dawning that most of the knowledge that the students would gain in most of the courses are more of those at the lower level of the series of the models. The first one is remembering. We will see more of what I'm saying. And with remembering, it is that the student will be able to recall and recognize relevant knowledge from long-term memory. The next higher level is understanding. And with this, okay, at the end of the day, if one is to write the
Zoom bombers
expected learning outcome, the expectation will be that the students, for the remembering now, the students will be able to define, to highlight, to reproduce. And most of the questions that are set at times, they are most times some people say highlight. So whenever a lecturer is asking students to highlight, the thing that has just been achieved with that set of students, is just that they can remember. But this is very important.
No, I do not think
at the level of remembering, it is good for the students, especially that are just entering the university at the lower level of the program.
That was very disrespectful. You shouldn't have said that.
For those that are almost graduating at levels 400 and level 500. So we should now, this learning outcome would let lecturers know what they are actually teaching the students. So the higher one, the next higher one is understanding. Understanding, the student will be able to understand and explain data in their own words. The next higher one, before the next higher one, so the key thing that they would learn at the end of the day is that they will be able to summarize, to discuss, to explain, before moving to the next one, which is the third from down. Applying, the expectation is that the students can use or apply knowledge in a real life situation, and at the end of the day, they will be able to demonstrate, solve, convert, as the case may be. The next higher one is analyzing, and the students will be expected to be able to interpret elements, to structure relationships between individual components. And the key learning outcome will be that they can criticize, they can differentiate, they can classify, they can distinguish. When questions of this nature are coming up, we will know the level of the domain that the student, that we have taken the students to. The next one is evaluating, and the students will be able to make judgments and justify decisions. And the last and the most complex is the creating, which will make students to be able to display creative thinking, create a new product, new concepts or approaches. And this is more of what happens when they are in the final year. And as such, the students will be able to assemble, generate, formulate, develop, as the case may be. So now, shedding more light on learning outcomes, which is what we need to do in the development of the 30%. Many people have it a bit not too easy to develop the learning outcomes.
Somebody's drawing on that screen.
The first thing about it is that learning outcomes are clear results that students can demonstrate
Can these trolls leave?
But
of
who is
significant
the
learning
admin of this
experience.
group of this? We should have put a lot of security on this before we start at all. There are a lot of people interrupting this.
We need better security on this app.
A lot of people interrupting. Which account are we really using? It depends. Which account are we really using for this event?
Thank you for speaking about this, brother.
So the next one.
Well, I think we should continue and discuss this later. Host, please do something on it.
I should continue.
Yes,
Do I
ma'am.
continue? Okay. All right. The next one about learning outcomes is that it describes.
Why did I get removed?
Is that it describes what learners can actually do with what they know and have learned, and this is a benefit to the students. The first one I said was that there will be clear learning results. There are expressions of clear learning results that students can demonstrate at the end of the learning experience, and this will be a benefit to teachers and students, because most times with the teacher-centered learning, I'm sorry to say this, many lecturers do not even really know what the students should take home. But if lecturers should know what the students will be benefiting at the end of the day, it will be a good one, even for the teachers who have been convinced that he has been able to establish some knowledge in the students. So the third one is that it helps students to learn more effectively. Students that know at the beginning what they will take home by taking the course, they will be eager to even learn more. And this definitely is a plus, is an advantage to the teachers, because the teachers will be able to achieve the intention, and also the students. It will be an advantage for the students because they will learn more. The next one is that it represents ultimate results that is sought from learning. This is more an advantage for the students. They would see the essence of the learning exercise that they are partaking in. Learning outcomes provide clear direction for educators when making instructions and assessment decisions. With the learning outcome statements, the teachers will be in a good position to decide on the assessment method to be used for, the assessment. Because if the like the learning outcome is at the lower level of the Bloom's taxonomy of cognitive learning, then one would know the kind of assessment method to be used. And if it is the one at the highest level, it may not necessarily be the same form of assessment method. So that is an advantage for the teachers. And also, with the statements of learning outcome, it provides a program level overview. And this we can see clearly indicated in the CCMAS, unlike that of BMAS. And with that information of overview of learning across the courses and also the years and also for the program, all stakeholders will benefit with this. A parent that is deciding for the ward will be able to make a decision. It's not just that my daughter will go and study nutrition and dietetics, but by going through the content of the program with the likes of overview, likes of objectives, likes of learning outcome, all stakeholders that are seeking to go for a program will be able to make a better and informed decision. It is obvious, nobody can see my screen again. So, in a nutshell, what CCMAS has done for the university.
Prof, because of our time, can we have a roundup? Yeah.
Okay, I'm almost concluding. So for the university, university will be reputable with uniqueness in the quality of graduates that are being turned out. And by way of conclusion, I would like to say this, take away on CCMAS. It creates and reflects uniqueness of each university. It is a means of keeping up with the changing world. It redefines learning from teacher-centered to student-learner-centered, and it enhances teaching skills of lecturers. I thank you for the invitation, and I thank you for listening to me to my presentation. Thank you, I'm done.
Thank you so very much, Ma. Good presentation from Prof. Professor Aishat Bolanle Akiwande since about 4 minutes ago. Although we had some itches, the MLA should look at this after the program. I think we should continue to save our time. I really appreciate you, Ma, on behalf of the MLA for that very nice and insightful presentation. Yeah, it's time for discussion, but because we are really hit into the minute time, so the time for discussion will be 10 minutes. And on that note, I'm inviting people to indicate if they have something to say on this subject matter before we move to the second presentation by Professor Gabade. Okay, Dr. Akeem Olowolaye, am I correct? You can go on. Dr. Akeem, host, please unmute Dr. Akeem. Dr. Akeem, you have the floor to speak. Okay, I don't know what's happening. Maybe any other person who wants to make contribution on this.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa
barakatuh. Thank you very much for the opportunity to. I hope you can hear me.
Very clearly, sir.
Okay, we would like to thank the Professor Bolanle for the insightful presentation. Is really needed for all of us to have a background of what is the problem so that we can actually know how to move forward. I'm not in Nigeria, so I'm in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur. I'm a lecturer at the International Islamic University. I am lucky, I would say, to be part of the curriculum review for my university. So that is why I want to ask this question. It's like a question, because when I noticed that from all the groups that I've been, I saw that the reaction to the new curriculum is not really very nice. So what I think is the problem, because how do we do it here? It is not just top down, like the Ministry of Education decides something and then pass it down to the rest of the university and then they continue to use. It's going to be top down, down up. So we have to, you start from the universities, from each department, they review, and then they go back to the Ministry of Education, and then they come back again. So what I noticed in our own case, I saw that the intention was very nice. The plan was, the focus was good, but I'm not quite sure about the implementation. And if there is, if you can shed some light on this, that would be very nice. To review curriculum here, we take like 4 or 5 steps. One is we want the students themselves to review the curriculum. Then we want the lecturers. Then we want the alumni of all the programs to review the curriculum, people that have been working in the industry, to give feedback on the curriculum. And then we pass that up to the faculty, the whole universities. I mean, all the institutions will be involved. It's not something that will come just directly like that. I think we have to I mean, I don't know how we can do this one, but I think if everybody is involved, people will not raise questions at the end of the day when the thing is already.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think Professor Bolali may want to respond to the aspect of the stakeholders' involvement, but the other aspect of your comment has to do with implementation, which the second speaker, Professor Gabardine, is going to address stakeholders.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Can I proceed?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Yeah, with the stakeholder involvement, I got to know Nigerian vice chancellors were asked to go and develop 50% at university level, while the remaining 50% is to be developed by NUC with their series of steps. But the vice chancellors in the 70 from them, universities to do 30%. As a practice at developed countries, is that regulatory bodies are not involved with their process of curriculum development. And you have said it very well. That, you said, was at the discretion of the institution. And as has been announced, that is where we're going. That is where Nigeria is going. But most of those countries, most of those institutions, go and check the year of existence. They are not the last of 20 years, 30 years. They have several hundreds of years that they have been existing before they can be asked to do such. You too will believe will believe me that even if we say a university A can do it right, we have some universities of 3 years that are 3 years, 5 years old. How would they do something very meaningful with curriculum development? They have to do it just as they like. So the way they do it in that university is just like some institutions that are owning 100% of their curriculum. And it has been said, Nigeria is going to that level. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Dr. Mose and Dr. Rashidat, take your turn one after the other for your comments. Dr. Mose.
Okay. Good afternoon, ma'am. Thank you for the presentation. Like the first speaker said, I also have some little issues with the curriculum. In my own discipline, for instance, geology, I saw that it's only one professor that was involved from the CCMAS that I saw. So the name of only one professor, like he was responsible for almost everything. And I was also wondering why why this thing was not from down to top, like the earlier speaker said. And I also see that there are some content in this curriculum that if we give to somebody that went to school in the 70s and somebody that is in school that went to school in the 2000s, there are a lot of differences in what they know and they have learned. So I feel there should be a blend of all these things, experience and new knowledge. For instance, there's a course that I saw, they call it borehole logging. In the same curriculum, I saw a course, they call it well logging. Well, this course means actually the same thing, formation evaluation, but they put it as different courses. So that's why I think it's also necessary, and they are making 70% of this of the curriculum, leaving the university for 30%. Then I think I now read somewhere recently what actually the NUC now wants from the NUC director, that NUC actually wants the university to develop 70% and the commission to develop the 30%. So I still don't understand how to put this. The 70% has already been developed, but if said somewhere that I read that they want the university to develop 70%. Can you please explain this now?
Okay, thank you very much.
Before you respond, Ma, let's take the other contribution from Dr. Funke.
She's no more raising her hand.
Okay. You
Okay,
can
so,
go ahead.
Okay, in relation to the inclusiveness, I think I would like to make a correction that it was a bottom-up approach. It started, if you remember in my presentation, the process was initiated in 2018. But I would say in my university, I did not get that information. At times, some people that have information do not act at university level, but I was privileged to see responses from many universities contributing at the beginning in 2018 to revision of the CCMAS. It was a 5-year process. I can confirm that. And it was a bottom-up approach. But most times in our universities, somebody would have information and would not just act on it, but many people acted. And also, you said there was only one professor that you saw. Each group had several other members. And as I said, and has been involved more of professionals, of professors in the universities. But I think between us, we know, like I told some of the people in another discipline, that you should now talk to that professor that you saw his name. You cannot say you don't know that person is competent. Who would say to NUC that he's not competent when he's a very senior professor? So if there is a weakness on our part, we should admit that they have a CCMAS of 2022 does not mean it will last, it will be everlasting. There are errors. The only thing that's perfect is God. Definitely these errors will be taken care of over the years in a very near future, because there will also still be revision. I hope I've been able to respond. Yes, sorry. For this new one that is in circulation, I think is not, let me just say this, it is not a well-captured report. NUC, before rolling out the CCMAS, was signed by the presidency, and that was what we had in December. For any other position to be made, it has to pass through series of measures, series of levels. That report, if you read it very well, is the handiwork of media people. 70%, 30%. I think they tried to misquote the years. I sent the thing to staff of NUC to confirm, but I can tell you at this level that it is not what will hold water. Because even we have position of some members of HASU not wanting it, and they are trying to make sure it doesn't happen. But we cannot say it will not happen, because NUC is a regulatory body.
Okay, thank you, Ma. Let's take comment from Dr. Rasheedat Funke Olanrewaju. Then we move to the next section of this program.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you, Prof, for these very good insights. I also share with Dr. Akim. We are from the same university, but I just moved to Nasarawa State University, Kefi. So possibly because I just moved, I might have missed few things. Since you said these have been on 2018, because we just received a message, which was like, to me, looks like a kind of rush. So when we talk about curriculum review or curriculum change, here is also like every 5 years, but as Dr. Akim said, it has to go through series of, stakeholders and so on and so forth. I see the beauty of what we are doing right now, because here in Malaysia, we have it, like all this course outline is something, it's a norm, it's a standard that we have to, you must have course outline and the objective of or the program outcome and so on and so forth. So this is very good. But what I'm concerned is the time looks so short for a very good job to be done. So I'm not too sure if the thing is from the top, or is it our own university that are not disseminating the information on time so that people can, contribute to this. So that's my own.
Well,
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Prof, any response to that?
Yeah, brief one. We can say the rush, well, for the 30%, I cannot defend that because I'm equally involved in the assignment. So it's that of the 70% that I said had been on for 5 years. But this 30% is just when we will have to start to do it that the message came. So I can't defend that.
And sorry, if I may add one more question, is for me, I'm from computer engineering, which is more into computer science in my university in NSUP. I still see like the 70% of what was being given by NUC. Some of the courses, because I was told to review some part of our curriculum, some of the courses are still to me, I feel they're not really relevant in today's technology. Most of it's supposed to be pushed to maybe high school or the foundation or remedial, so that when they come, because our students are competing for global market. Otherwise, the whole credit is chopped off by all these courses. I understand what it means that these courses are still good, but why not they give them a very small credit or pace of fail or pass, so that if really we want students to go through those courses. But to me, I see it as we overburden them by 3 credit unit or something which is not directly related. And if we want to teach, for example, if you want to teach mathematics, mathematics of course is related to computer science, but why not we make it mathematics for computing, so that it will be like straight away to what they are learning, and it will even be taught by maybe the lecturer of that department. So there are some few courses, I don't know, because I just came in, so I don't really, but from where I'm coming from, I feel some of these things we have to gradually, face some things off, and then take the new ones that are coming, so that our graduates will be relevant. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you, ma'am. I maybe I should quickly provide an insight here. If we watch the video that was produced by Professor Okebukola, the CCMAS actually gave provision for the local content from each department in mind into the 30% benefit the environment, or that is specifically important to that field that the CCMAS has not taken care of. I think it's a good starting point that we can begin to continue to improve upon what we have now. We should not encourage people attacking it, because that may not actually give us a sure, Professor Garba, I think we attend to some of these issues. I will call on Professor Garba Shuaib from Bayero University, Kano, to make his own contribution, and then we can move on. Prof. Host, can you unmute Professor Garba? Professor Garba, it's a time to make your own contribution as a senior academics in the house, and it will be important to listen to your voice too on this matter. Professor Garba? I think I saw him a while ago. Okay. Well, it's obvious that people have made their contribution. And now we'll move on to the next presentation. To be taken by Chan from University of Abuja, a president of Professor Wasil Gabadin, the Director of Academic Planning, University of Abuja, to be leading us on a very important topic related to this issue, the challenges of successful implementation of core curriculum, minimum academic standards, CCMAS, in Nigerian universities. Professor Gabadin.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I hope my screen is clear to you.
Yes.
Okay. I will run down through these slides very quickly as the first speaker and my chairperson, Professor Abolande Aisha Akinwande, has actually helped me in doing some job. But quickly, let me just make my comments before I do my presentation, that the best approach, because this body is Muslim Lecturers Association, Muslim come first before lecturer. How do we perceive things as a Muslim? We should not forget it whenever we are doing anything. Anything that looks new and has an element of positive, the first statement must always be appreciating that thing. Then we can now go for observations. There is no doubt, no thing in life that will be initiated by any human being that can wear the color of perfection. So CCMAS might be suffering from this. So I quickly go through my slide. We don't need this one. But briefly, just to tell you that, since my university is tagged as partner with MLA, so which we try to make known. So I bring you one greeting from my Vice Chancellor, Abdul Rashid Nala, who is equally eager to meet MLA for their good work. The objectives of my presentation are stated and my outline as equally stated. But let me quickly say here that as a professor of higher education management, I will be approaching some preliminary discussions before I address the challenges from educational management perspective. The first thing is that there is curriculum review process, as I mentioned, and there is equally curriculum development process. Both are not the same. The review process and the development process are not the same. They are very close, but they are not the same. What is operating right now in Nigeria, for some of us who have been agitating in the past, we always celebrate NUC for taking this stride. It's just because of what Hello? Hello? Assalamu alaikum.
I can hear you, sir.
We can hear you.
Okay. So my next slide is just what Professor Akinwande have dealt into, and that is but what is amazing is that when we as university lecturers, we address issues as if to say we are not lettered. How on earth somebody will challenging NUC? Why must you develop curriculum? Rather than challenging NUC, why can't we make our presentation to National Assembly to amend the act that established NUC so that we take the power from them? So we can't sit down here and be saying why when the law that established them gives that power to them. Secondly, on this slide, let me quickly make this comment also on the last point there. Yeah, you see that on core curriculum minimum academic standard, I did not indicate any year. Why? Because implementation of CC Math has not been effected. That must be clear to everybody. The process is still ongoing. Yeah. So until when it commenced, then we cannot be discussing some other. It has started and it's ongoing, because what you call CC Math, as I speak, is still at the level of 70%, yet to reach 100%. So implementation, we are only expecting maybe this year. It may kickstart later this year, maybe fourth quarter, depending on how we're able to move. So I won't be able to stop here again, since Professor Akinwande mentioned about the major highlights of the CC Math. And let me stop here and make a curriculum management processes for us in educational management as these 4 stages. Yeah, the planning, the implementation, the monitoring and evaluation, review and audit. And this, I decided to point it this way, but it ideally is cyclical. So it goes like that. Under normal circumstances, there is no need for any year to put in place, because if a university chooses to be reviewing their curriculum every 5 years, it means that at a particular point in time, planning will be maybe in the first year, implementation will be like that. It will be alternating. So as one is ongoing, the review will commence, the monitoring will be going on like that and like that. So it is only in Nigeria that we have not adopted that culture of university owning their curriculum by themselves. I'm very happy for the participants outside the country that makes that comment in their own university. And that is the global best practice. Here in Nigeria, NUC is still the one developing curriculum. And it's becoming more clearer that do we actually have the capacity to actually develop 100% of our curriculum if our reaction to 30% is almost negative at some quarters. I think we need to watch that place carefully for agitators of university owning their curriculum. For me, it's the right way to go. And until when we reach there, I think the effort should not be relaxed. So part of the, that's part of my suggestion anyway. Now, in these 4 stages, there are strategic issues that any curriculum should address and should look at, which I'm very happy when the 2 participants outside the country, most especially from Malaysia, when they are making their comments, as most of these issues will have been mentioned. But since my own discussion is on implementation, so I will talk briefly on implementation while I will skip the remaining 3. Yeah, whenever you have, I'm working on an assumption that CC Math is on ground and is being implemented. Now, during that implementation, there is going to be so many competing change initiatives. One will say this way, one will say that way, and that we cannot take away from it. Yeah, if curriculum was not properly channeled, yeah, the plan changes in that curriculum, yeah, at times may not be too clear, and at times may come with some level of ambiguity, as what we are currently experiencing about CC Math. Yeah, externally initiated curriculum changes may be resisted by staff, and that's what we are witnessing right now in Nigeria. Universities do not have resources for trial tests. You know, if in pharmacy they are developing a drug, they first of all do some trial tests. If they are developing a vaccine, they first of all do some trial tests. They have the luxury of using lesser animal to do trial tests and come back to the main animal for the full implementation of that thing. We do not have such luxury in the university system where you now do some, but some of them we go concurrently and as we are going on. Yeah, unexpected or unplanned events are usually inevitable in curriculum implementation. Yeah, take for example now, let's say some university, they design their curriculum, their 30% based on AYZ professor being their staff, and they incorporated some concept into it. What happened? Shortly after the approval of NEC for their 30%, those staff that are actually the initiator of some of this content now decided to take their leave out of that university and may go to another place. Yeah, so my take on curriculum implementation, the strategic issue there is that there must be a responsive curriculum implementation committee, which I think in the order that the CCMAS is coming, the university has been empowered to have Senate committee on CCMAS, the faculty should have a committee on CCMAS, the department should have committee on CCMAS, and the program working group. The program working group will develop the CCMAS, give it to their departmental committee for vetting and for necessary, then it moves like that. How do they make the input? Has been explained by some participants. Yeah, I think it's just their initiative. Is that the right way to go? In my own University of Abuja, it is no longer acceptable by the current administration. Every program in University of Abuja must have industrial partner. So it is no longer acceptable that your program does not have industrial partner. And one of the activities of the department of program coordinator, which is partner in the industry, is part of curriculum review. What are the things that are supposed to go? We have started that 1 or 2 years ago, even before the CCMAS was being launched in December last year. Yeah, there are other issues. I won't be able to take much of your time here. Let me quickly go to challenges ahead now, because that's actually my title. I choose to just caption it with top points because I see it as a discourse that we can all put our heads together and form an opinion that can recommend to the stakeholders. The first thing which is what is obvious now, resistance to change from the philosophy of BMAS to CCMAS is the first thing. Yeah, that thing is already ongoing, and gradually it will just, be out of, it's not out of place that is happening. No doubt, NUC actually engage relevant stakeholders, but that engagement may not be enough, so they can still do more when they are taking the next step. So the philosophy of BMAS is not the same as the philosophy of CCMAS. And why must be that resistance? If somebody is to develop 30% and he or she does not have a new idea, he doesn't even know anything that's going on in his own profession. I think when our sister is talking from Malaysia as a computer engineer and is telling, it's because it's on ground. I can assure you that some have been teaching some courses for donkeys of years, and they've actually memorized their notes, and the students are applauding them that they are very good. They are teaching without checking notes, not because they are genius, but because they have been teaching the same thing over the years. So I think this may be part of why people are resisting, because it's bringing some challenge actually to the academia for you to now. We have not been doing it. We have not been involving, and then now all of a sudden we are told to do some of these things. That is one. Number two, that may likely be another challenge for sustainable development is that managing the transition period from BMAS to CCMAS. And what do I mean there? Now, by the schedule of CCMAS, let me work on an assumption that CCMAS was given approval for implementation this year. What it means is that the next admission of that university, that's the 100 level, that new one, are the people that will join the train of CCMAS. In that program, it means that the students that are going to 200 level, who have started their career with BMAS, are expected to graduate with their BMAS. During this period, there is going to be some little challenges. And take, for example, somebody is running BMAS is at 300 level, but he has a carryover in a particular course, and that course is in 100 level. And 100 level has already been running CCMAS. So there may be difference in the title. When he was doing it, there may be different in the content, and there may be so many different. So we are likely to experience this challenge of transition period. Now, disparity in contents and standards in curriculum delivery may equally be another challenge, because no doubt, not everybody actually understand what soft skill is all about. Yeah, whenever I used to watch when people are discussing soft skill, I can see that quite a number of us, we see it as something that necessarily needs to get a certificate. Not all soft skills actually require certificate at times, and at times it may necessitate. Take for example, you are an engineer in oil and gas, and you choose to go to Qatar to pick up a job. On your arrival in Qatar, yeah, 3 of you are actually there for interview. One or another of you did very well at your university for your oil and gas engineering, but one can only speak English, another one can speak English and French, but you as a person, you can speak English, French, and Arabic. No doubt, the one that combines Arabic will always have an edge over others. Why? Because Qatar is an Arabic country. So they will feel more in love with that one. Yeah, and most likely other nationals in that place who have a company in that Qatar may likely be English speaking or French speaking. With that, it means that for that engineer who is specialized in oil and gas, this language becomes his own soft skill, and is going to ride on it and give and have an added advantage over the other hard skill, which is his certificate that he has in oil and gas. These are the new concepts that now curriculum. I mean, we talk about entrepreneurship. The way entrepreneurship is being structured now is no longer a business of just doing the same entrepreneurship for education, for science, for humanity, for a great engineer. No, each course must come out clearly with its own entrepreneurship. So that become here. I think medical will have a chance here. Dr. Raimi, I think he has worked on medical entrepreneurship along with the Professor Oriagba. And these are the things we are seeing. Each one will have. And this disparity in contents and standard in curriculum delivery may pose challenge to some of the academic staff in Nigerian university. Yeah, another challenge we may likely face in the implementation of systems is about qualified, competent, and adequate human resources to implement the content or to deliver the content of CCMAS. The academic staff, the administrative staff, and the technical staff some may be qualified, but may not be competent, and they may be qualified, competent, but they may not be adequate. But for us to have a free flow successful implementation of CCMAS, we ought to have qualified, competent, and adequate human resources. So lack of it becomes a challenge. Having it becomes a solution. Can I go on? Hello?
Go on, sir.
We are with you, sir.
Go on, sir.
Continue.
Okay. Now, the next one is about core and supportive infrastructure. Now, just take example of what's going on currently in Nigeria. Yeah, there is no doubt since the issue of cashless policy is trying to be implemented, it becomes more clearer that the infrastructure to support that policy is actually inadequate. Because you see so many failure in transaction, so many this, so many that. Now we have CCMAS coming on board. We have necessary infrastructure available. If it is available, are they adequate? If they're adequate, are they actually relevant? Because when you change, when the participant from Malaysia is talking about computer science, I just laugh and say that fine. Yeah, it's a way to go, but I'm afraid perhaps by the time the Nigerian government will order necessary supportive infrastructure for that latest computer science courses, maybe by that time the world will have moved from that side now. So the new, the so-called new facility now become obsolete, and they now have to go. These are the issues that we may likely battle with, but they are also surmountable. Now, the issue of funding is equally critical to the implementation of CCMAS. The government needs to, one thing is for the government to allocate, to have budgetary allocation for education. And I used to tell people, as a professor of higher education management, and with some of my researches in the area of educational financing, one thing is for government to budget certain amount for education. Another thing is how much they actually disburse. And another issue is how much was actually utilized on that particular program or project. These are issues that some researchers has actually showed that there's high disparity between. Government can be deceptive. Said we allocated 70 million to this program. They may not release more than 30 million throughout the year. And at the end of the day, out of this 30 million, the CEO of that particular institution may decide to spend maybe 15 million on the project. So these are issues that we likely face. Effective and efficient monitoring, evaluation, and learning outcomes. We need to look at we are going to blended learning in terms of teaching. Do we support it with an MIE that is going to be automated? So if you don't have an MIE that is automated and the delivery is automated, we may have some challenge in that area also. Now, another challenge that may face CCMA's acceptability is the marketability and acceptability of graduates of Nigerian University in global market space. We need to be mindful of that, and that's where I agree that yes, because I'm aware there's stakeholder engagement, but I still want to believe that it may not be. I think it's not yet enough, and we can still do more. You observed recently the governor of Central Bank is trying to engage all diplomatics in Nigeria, and that is when we've already suffered having this problem. That's not the way to go. So also we have been engaging in those where we're engaging, but we still need to engage more and more. And this engagement, as earlier mentioned, supposed to be bottom up. But I can assure you, at times when we work in Nigeria in terms of target setting, it may not always work. I will give you a practical example. On the CCMAS, the CCMAS Secretariat requested for a list of professors that will be involved in review. Now, after generating the list, they send out that, okay, they send out a link for each professor to try to just give biodata of himself, just 100 words. At the end of the exercise, some professors were dropped because they could not even respond within a twinkle of an eye. What does it cost somebody just to give 100 words of his own biodata, a professor for that matter? But it's just our attitudinal, our attitude to certain things that we may not. So the acceptability of our graduates in Nigeria in the global market space, we need to look at it very well. Now, yes, because it's going to create some disparity in our products. So what CCMAS is trying to say is that, yes, somebody that read my course in University of Abuja, another person that read the same course in Olabisi Onabanjo University are not the same in terms of what they have been exposed to. So if that be the case, then we need to work out more strategies to make it more competitive. Yeah, another challenge that we will likely run to during the implementation of Systemas is the managing intra-university transfer. In managing intra-university transfer, yes, somebody's reading my course University of Abuja, but he's seeking for transfer to Olabisi Onabanjo University in Agowe. But this, in Olabisi Onabanjo, there is one or two courses in their undergrad level that for them, nobody graduated that program without passing it. And that particular program is not in my own university. So this may be another challenge. How we manage intra and university transfer is maybe another challenge. Yeah, another challenge that I foresee is migrating from analog to digital processes in the implementation of systems like earlier mentioned. Yes, we are introducing blended learning. Fine. How about the implementation? So we need to look at this one. Then how about even the infrastructure that we are building this digital facility on? Yeah. We may likely run into another challenge of conflicting accreditation criteria between NUC and professional bodies. If there's no proper engagement, yes, current will always come for accreditation of engineering. Yeah, I mean, the Medical and Dental Council will always come for accreditation of people in MBBS. We shall always be having ICANN or ANAN to come for accreditation of people in accounting. Now, usually this professional body, at times they have a waiver that any students that have been a graduate before joining this professional body will be eliminated from maybe one or two courses at the lower level of their professional exam and will just join. Now, from a particular university, one of the courses was not in their own top list. And another, yeah. So this may be another issue. I can continue on and on but this is a discourse. So I consider myself just to lead while others will make their input. Then we harvest all this input and we have a common stand about it. Yeah. I want to once again appreciate the organizer for finding me worthy of being invited for this program. Let me quickly conclude by saying that the paradigm shift from BMAN to SysMan should be embraced by all stakeholders, and each stakeholder should diligently perform their roles in the implementation of the SysMan. Successful implementation of SysMan is a collective responsibility of all the stakeholders. Yeah. Yes, I think on that note, I want to appreciate the organizer. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so very much. I must sincerely appreciate the presentation by Professor Gabadin. He has really put his salt and worth in this presentation. Professor of educational management. I noted a few things, but I will not be the lead in the people that will raise discussion because I'm the one moderating. So I wait for people to talk. I can see hands up. One of the hands is okay, Professor Shuaibu. Congratulations to me. We wanted you to speak after the first presentation. I think you can combine your comment that time with this one too. So you are the first speaker after this one, after this presentation by.
Hello? Hello?
You have the floor, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you, sir. Professor Shuaibu.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello? Yes.
Somebody is raising up his hand. So will you allow the person to speak first?
Thank you.
Appreciating the floor,
thank you for your good. Yes. Hello? Hello?
Professor Shuaibu has the floor, please.
Yes, I saw you. Yes, it's me, Professor Garba Shaibu.
Okay.
Can you go ahead?
Yes, you can go ahead.
It's okay. Thank you.
The audio seems to be lost. Hello.
What I was saying, I am appreciating the last presenter, that is Professor Wafi Gabadi, for his thank you for your presentation. The aspect he is trying to, that this CMAS is very important at this present global village, and at the same time with in an IT era process and a pursuit of era and economy. That is one. Then again, looking at the CMAS and the BMAS, it's normal in curriculum development and curriculum implementation. Whenever there is change or there is innovation, initially people will resist it. So, but later, gradually, when people observe the philosophies, the objectives, and the impact of it, they will later embrace it and accept it. So I hope and I pray it's just a matter of time. People will embrace it, will appreciate it. But two areas which I also present my view and at the same time agree with the presenter is the issue of availability of resources that's supposed to be used in the implementation of the program. And at the same time, apart from the resources, then the qualification, competency, and adequacy of human resources, that is both human and material resources, supposed to be taken into consideration in the implementation of this CMAS. Because looking at most of the universities in Nigeria, and of course in other outside Nigeria, this issue of IT and other things are very important, and it involves so many adequate and competent resources before implementation. So in Nigeria, many universities don't have adequate personnel that will handle this program. So I think the NUC and government should take this into consideration to make, if possible, address the issue of either the visiting, the sabbatical, if permanent staff cannot be recruited in order to assist in addressing and in the implementation of the CMAS. Then the issue of marketability and acceptability of the Nigerian graduate to global market space. I think this depends on the student attitude and their commitment to work. Even at the presently, if you look at many of Nigerian university graduates, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, they compete with many graduates. But I believe this will not be a problem to our student, our graduate student, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. It depends on their attitude and commitment. If they stick their attitude and commitment to work, attitude and commitment to whatever they are engaging in, I think there will not be a problem to Nigerian student or Nigerian graduate wherever they happen to find themselves. Then lastly, in your discussion, although I don't know, but being a curriculum also expert, I think you're supposed to look at the indices you presented in your proposal, that curriculum management process are supposed to be addressed in at least 5 areas: issue of planning, monitoring and evaluation, review and auditing. Planning first, implementation, monitoring, evaluation, review and auditing. You're supposed to discuss on all of them briefly so that people may be able to see your line of thinking, especially I repeat, on your last statement during the presentation, that curriculum development or curriculum process is an ongoing and it's supposed to be cyclic. Hello?
Yes, sir.
It's supposed to be ongoing and cyclic. So being ongoing and cyclic, you're supposed to look at all the stages you mentioned so that we can now see what you mean by ongoing and cyclic, starting with the planning, so that people may be convinced that even if they are not involved in the planning stage at the top level, because this seems to be a curriculum implementation based on a particular model which we call top-down, that is from the authority to the grassroots. So being top-down, then we can see the element in which people from the grassroots are represented in the top planning of the curriculum. Then for the implementation, where many of the teachers are involved on the student and even the parent, because of its impact, can be able to see the rationale of the implementation of GCC maths in Nigerian university. Then he also support briefly to tell us to talk on the issue of monitoring and evaluation, so that we can see the impact of monitoring and evaluation to the learning of GCC maths in our student and in the university environment. Then maybe lastly, you need to briefly also discuss on the issue of review, how maybe by the time this CC maths is accepted and implemented, there will be a stage in which the curriculum of the CC maths program need to be reviewed, audited, so that there is a need for, again, going back to implement it as an ongoing and cyclic process. And later, I predict that later, before we were in BE maths, we are now in CC maths, and I foresee that later there will be another curriculum, which maybe the regulatory body MUC may propose another name for it as cyclic ongoing process in curriculum development. For every year, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, it depends on the time frame, but it is an ongoing. So the philosophy of whatever program is supposed to be accepted and embraced by all, so that improvement will be made, so that its impact should be experienced and progress and development should be achieved. Thank you for giving me the chance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It's been a very nice contribution from you. And when you talked about moving from B mass to C mass, I thought we were going to say maybe D mass is going to come later. That's on the lighter mood anyway. Thank you, sir. I have seen your hand. Teslim Ashafa, I will come to you now, but I want to read this from the chat box. Somebody is an NUC is that, what is the place of university autonomy in this new curriculum? Professor Gabardine would have noted this, and I want him to respond to it after we have taken all the discussions. Now, Teslim Ashafa.
All right, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Thank you so much for organizing this workshop or this seminar. By way of introduction, I'm Teslim Ashafa. I'm a professor of mechanical engineering from LAUTECH, Bumasho. So I also want to appreciate the presenters for doing a very good job. Let me start by aligning with all the responses that have been made. And let me also say that in Nigeria, our situation is always different from other countries. If you make a proposal and there's no a little form of enforcement, nothing will actually come out of it. If you remember, there has been a request either by NUC directly or indirectly that the universities should review their curriculum for a very long time. Even in my university here, we have been clamoring for review of curriculum, but that has been on for so many years. Nothing, in most cases, nothing will be done. And sometimes when there are efforts, politics, we want to host this course, we want that department to host this course, we've got to so many things. I remember putting a lot of effort trying to review our curriculum. But by the time we got to a stage, so this department will host this, so it is not for this department to host this course. The other department is more viable to host this course. So everything just died down. We couldn't proceed further. So in other words, there must be a form of, higher hand sometimes for you to get some things done. Otherwise, nothing will be done. That is my first comment. The second comment is that there's nothing that can be very perfect, like somebody said previously. When you have anything, you will always have the good part of it, and also you have challenges. Part of the challenge, there will always be challenges also. In this case, there are so many good things about the CC maths. For example, if you look at, for example, in engineering, for example, for us in mechanical, there are a lot of additional courses that are very good for our students. The artificial intelligence-based courses, the entrepreneurship-based courses, the machinery-based courses, and so many courses like that. The entrepreneurship, the cultures and societies, which are very important for our undergraduate students. They are there, and we appreciate that. At the same time, there are so many challenges that I think those challenges can be addressed as time goes on. For example, I was looking at one of the courses in year one here, the course that was originally 4-unit course. You know, the same course, the same content, everything was written in the new CC Maths. Now it became 2 units. I can't see the university completing that course in 15 weeks, not to talk of a truncated semester that we have every time. So to me, I think NUC in one way or the other try to reduce the number of courses, number of units without reducing the actual content of those courses. I think going forward, this thing should be looked into very well. So for example, the last interaction that I attended, they were saying, okay, for a whole section, the number of units shouldn't be more than 35 units. So it should be divided between the 2 semesters, either 17, 15, 16, 19 or so. But the fact is that the content of those courses, they are very, very heavy. I have a course in mechanical engineering. You know, what I've seen in CC Maths is that 3 courses, one 3 units, another one 2 units, another one 2 units, making 7 units. Those courses are now combined together and they give you 2 units. I say, this is joking now. This is a joke taken too far. This cannot stand. So these are some of the problems that we have in whole places. And I think as time goes on, we need to even review the CC Maths that we are talking about. So that's number 2. The third one is that sometimes we feel that the quality of our graduates is not at par with what we have in the other part of the world. I happened to speak in a seminar like this, and I said, okay, you guys are criticizing us because you are based outside the country. Oh, the curriculum is better. Our graduates are not exposed to this type of curriculum. I say, yes, that's very true. But I can assure you that the quality of our graduates are also very good. And that is why you will see Nigerian graduates going abroad, you know, clearing all the records, breaking so many records. So we cannot just say, okay, because these things are happening, so the quality of the graduates are bad. It is not as bad as that. Our students, they are still trying very much. Our faculty, our lecturers, they are still at the top of their game. So no matter the side we look at it, we'll see a lot of advantages and disadvantages in the whole CC Maths. In conclusion, I think CC Maths is a very good idea. But to me, I think the CC Maths itself should be reviewed as soon as possible, because of a lot of deficiency that we have seen and we have raised in it. So I wish us good luck as we continue the discussion. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so very much, Prof. I'm sorry about the first identification because the identity did not show on the screen here. So thank you so very much for that professorial contribution to the discussion. We appreciate you. As you were speaking, I also identified that we have another distinguished scholar from LAUTECH in the house, Dr. Muniru Olajide Okelola. Thank you so very much for being here. So do we have any other contribution before I allow Professor Gabaldon to speak on this? Well, maybe as we wait, Professor Gabaldon, please help us to put some insight and direction into those contributions.
Yeah, thank you so much. And all the senior colleagues that have made their contribution, I want to appreciate them. I think Dr. Adegboyega will recall, I always ask from anybody that invites me, what exactly do you want from me? And I try to keep to that mandate. I will have done exactly what the prof suggested, but I know I may not likely reach my main focus out of timing. So that's why I have to skip. The slides are there, and people are free to call me for further explanations anytime, any day. Let me start by saying that with the CC Maths is going to challenge we in academia one way. Now, let me tell you, in the order of adding your 30%, there is the last segment there says that addition to CC Maths. What it means is that what you observe about that particular issue, you want something to be part of that course, but when you check through all the resources highlighted in CCMAS, none of them will address that issue. You now add it to it. What that means that you must have looked inward into your own university environment. These resources you want to, can you source it locally? Because there are certain things you can't be repeating it that we lack this, we lack that. We have been hearing it for decades. So we should be talking of a solution there. So no doubt resources will not be enough, but creativity can make it to show that it can be enough, depending on how we make use of our environment. There are so many natural resources that different universities were endowed with, but we may not tap into them because of ease of funding. But now that it's becoming challenging, we may just have to look at this there. Yeah, let me quickly react to what is the place of university autonomy. Let me make this thing so clear. Yeah, my loyalty and my commitment to ASUU remain the same thing, whatever be my position in the university system. But one of the concepts that I think those of us in academic, we are still getting the whole thing mixed up. And I keep on challenging what exactly are the contents of university autonomy. Because to me, NUC is returning back one of the autonomy. One of the autonomy, to the best of my knowledge, is for every university to own their curriculum. NUC has been taking it 100%. Vice Chancellor were invited, let us do it this way. The Vice Chancellor said, no, it's too drastic. Let's do it this way. NUC accepted, then they go for 70-30. Yeah. Just yesterday in my own university, Dr. Salih Anwar, the Deputy Executive Secretary at NUC Academic, still in my university, and we're still discussing in some of these things. So, and he told me that in fact, the first mandate he received on his appointment as Director of Academic Planning of NUC is that this issue of curriculum must see the light of the day. Now, the issue now is that I think we should be talking about how do we even get the 100%, not challenging before NUC is the sole provider of curriculum. Now, the same NUC now is coming now, okay, we have realized that we cannot be the sole owner of curriculum. Now we are holding to 70, you take 30. We've not solved that 30. I think we should just try to fast track how we solve that 30 and go back. No, we don't even want it again. Let's be 50-50. If you're able to sort that one, I will go back again. Let's be 70-30. And at the end of the day, we get to a level that the university will hold their curriculum by themselves. Later, your curriculum will reach a level, you put it in a patent, and it becomes a copyright. Anybody cannot just pick your course anyhow. And you make a brand for your graduates anywhere they go. They know, oh, this particular student is coming from Lautech. This particular student is coming from Abuja. This particular student is coming from OAU and the like. Let us try to start making. There is no doubt when you have discussion with students from Harvard, Oxford, we see the differences in their curriculum, in the way those people will actually handle some managerial issues. So for me, CCMAS is actually helping university to hold their autonomy in terms of their curriculum development through this gradual process. And that's the way I think we should look at it. Yeah. Yes, I want to believe that if we are using 15 hours, let's say we are using 15 a week and we are teaching students for 2 hours, meaning 30 hours. Yeah, and we're able to cover certain number of topics in face-to-face. My own understanding is that through blended learning, we should be able to cover more. Yeah, because actually what we are claiming that we are teaching students, actually more than 50% of that knowledge, the students have already possessed it before they enter the class. Because knowledge is no longer hidden. Yeah, knowledge is no longer hidden. The knowledge they want is almost everywhere. So they can, with their system, they only need some level of clarity from us as lecturer. So I think that whatever we're able to accommodate in face-to-face within certain number of hours, we should be able to top it up now that we are introducing blended learning and the SFA facility. This is my own understanding about it. Yes, finally, my comment would be that I subscribe that Nigerian graduates can test the time over there. But what is the percentage is what we need to discuss. Yeah, so the percentage will now determine the entire system. Yeah, there are a good number of them that will make us proud when they are over there. But when you look at it about the number of our products and the number that we can categorize like that, then we take it into percentage. It may not, to my own thinking, it may not be as sharp as we expect. So that gives room that the earlier we embrace this CMAS, take our position in the development of curriculum as academia, take our position in the development of curriculum as a university, and tell NUC to its face, please, we own our curriculum, allow us to have our piece. We are ready for our 100%. Do not even disturb us with 70% again. So this will become more challenging for NUC itself. It means that when they are coming to University of Abuja for accreditation, they have to prepare in a way. Then they go to another university, they prepare them because our contents are not the same. What will be more disheartening is for a university to use its hand to develop a course and now go back again and say that it doesn't have lecturer to teach that course. Then something was wrong somewhere. It's possible that somebody has left the system while that development is going on, or it may be the other way around. But what we are experiencing currently is just a usual reaction to changes. And if the change manager actually mean the business, they should be able to manage all these reactions together and positively effect necessary correction so that we can move on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much, Spence. And so on that note, I don't know, I can see Dr. Hakeem Olowolayemo with his hand up a while. Dr. Hakeem, can you spend 1 minute or less? 1 minute or less, please, so that you can close the program.
Well, first of all, I would like to appreciate the distinguished lecturers. They have really actually, helped me to understand the problems. Okay, so alhamdulillah. But since this is a Muslim forum, I just want to make some suggestions based on my observation, because when I saw the reaction in different platforms, I wanted to be sure of what I'm talking about. So I look for my own area, which is computer science, IT, data science, and the rest of it. I graduated 23 years ago from OAU. So when I checked, and luckily one of my lecturers was one of the team that actually developed the curriculum in person of Professor Sorion. So I didn't, to the best of my knowledge, I was expecting quite a good improvement, but it was still okay. Like Prof. Gabadin mentioned just now, that we cannot expect perfection, we have to start moving on. So that is why I would like to, in some of the areas that I say that I think, I don't know whether we see it as a problem, but I want to suggest these ones. Okay, so the first one is that some universities, okay, like here, we have some universities, they have status of self-review. So they are matured enough, because Professor Akinwande actually mentioned that previously, that we cannot allow all universities, university of 3 years, university of 50 years, they are different in maturity. So they have status, and you have to continue, just like NUC accreditation, you have to continue to maintain that status to be able to review your curriculum. But your curriculum is going to be every year. You are going to continue, like Prof. Gabadin mentioned just now, you are going to continue. Even if you want the result to come out in 5 years, you have to continue. And that would take me to OBE. outcome-based education. One of the things that we do here, which is going to be 5 years, our graduates in 5 years, we want them to review the course they left behind, to tell us more about the program, what should need to be changed, and so on. So I don't know if we involve the students themselves, the alumni themselves of the university. We do a tracing program to look for, we link our alumni to the university and make sure that those alumni contribute to the improvement in the curriculum. Because they study in the university, they knew the curriculum very well. So they should be able to do that. The last one I would like to mention is the grading system. When I look at it, I was hoping that they would change the grading system from 70A. 70A, I don't know, 30 marks wasted after 70. That is what I see in our grading system presently. And I hope that since this is a Muslim lecturers forum, I don't know, some of our leaders are actually part of those who can give.
Dr. Akim, what exactly is your suggestion in that grading system?
Yeah, let's change it. This is 30%.
To what? Be specific.
No, I don't need to say specifically. Okay, so
no, I want to believe that you are sharing experience with us. You are sharing experience with us.
I think what he's trying to say is to move A to something like 80 or 85 or maybe 90.
So
okay, thank you.
Okay, so generally the grading system is what I would describe it this way. Once you know that A is 70, you are going to be very stringent, very stingy with marking. And that affects a lot of our students. Our students are doing well globally, but so many of them don't have the opportunity to even get out of Nigeria or study abroad because of the grade they graduate with, because of the marking system. I hope that going forward, we may actually improve in this area as well. So those are my suggestions, and I hope that we continue to engage to improve it. Jazakumullah khairan for the opportunity. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much. While Dr. Akim was speaking, I noticed that Abdullahi Ribajo, the Panel Vice Chancellor, Sule Lamido University Jigawa, and visiting professor to NUC. We thank you very much for being on the program. And if you wish to make one or two statements, you will be allowed, because we cannot allow you to go with those wisdoms and knowledge. So, but while thinking about that, I want to call on Dr. Abuwasi Ajagbe, the vice, to handle the next items and some announcement before I come back to close the program properly. Dr. Ajagbe.
Well, thank you very much.
Is Dr. Ajagbe still online?
I'm speaking already.
Okay, you can go on. Yes, we can, though faintly.
All right, thank you very much. I must appreciate you, our coordinator, Dr. Salahuddin. And my role actually is to more or less wrap up and appreciate our resource persons, and then probably pass one or two comments. First and foremost, on behalf of MLA, I wish to appreciate very sincerely our distinguished resource person, starting from Professor Bolanle Aisha Akinwande from LAUTECH, and of course, distinguished Professor Brother Abdulwasi Gabadin from University of Abuja. We are very, very indeed grateful for your impactful knowledge shared with us on a very important issue, CCMAS. And then from what you have presented, it's obvious that, yes, nobody is contesting the fact that curriculum review, it's very necessary, yes. But are there challenges with this approach? Yes. Are the challenges surmountable? Yes. Is it in our interest? Yes. So all what you have said, I'm sure that our audience have listened and picked one or two things there, particularly those who have issues with CC Mass. I think they have a better view now from blended learning, which actually requires a blended view from all of us. And as Muslims, we are changers. We are to put lights where there are darkness. And so with this exposition, or let me say enlightenment around CC Mass, in our various universities, we have that role and responsibility to have a change of mind and see how best we can improve the system moving forward. And so I want to say on the last note that when virtual academic discourse by Muslim Lecturers Association, this is the 2nd edition, we still have the hope of doing about 2 more or 3 before the year runs out. We'll encourage you to always link up with us. And then for those who have yet to join us as members, it's meant for you, it's Muslim Islamic. We need to come together and chart a path forward for the benefit of mankind, which is actually our responsibility. So I want to appreciate everybody. Thank you very much.
That was Dr. Ajagbe, the VP admin for MLA. I don't know if Professor Abdullahi Ribadu is hearing us clearly. Or maybe it's no longer online. So on that note, because of the time and based on the role given to me by MLA, I want to declare the program closed. My name is Kamaru Salahuddin, the head of Department Mass Communication, Fountain University, Osogbo. I thank you so very much for being on this program, and until next time, we'll be meeting on this kind of program again. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Professor Gabadin.
Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.
And other people to come out and speak in one resounding voice at the election and elect all our candidates, presidential candidates.
And